What's up everyone, Tabor here. Some of you might know me as Mike, and welcome to my Jungle Warwick guide. Warwick is one of the less popular junglers during Season 2, but I feel like he will get more attention with the changes in Season 3. The reason for that are his weak early ganks and average jungle clear times, but his sustain and ganking potential after reaching 6 are amazing. If you look for a jungler that has no problems with going low health in the jungle, a tanky duelist with some heavy CC in the mix, look no further than Warwick. Let's start with his skills, shall we? Warwick's passive is Eternal First, and one of the reasons for his great sustain and duel potential. He deals additional magic damage and heals himself with every auto attack, with a stack possibility up to 3 times. Pretty simple, right? His Q, Hunger and Strike, is his bread and butter skill. You will want to max this as soon as possible. It will be your biggest source of DPS, especially during early and mid game. In a nutshell, you deal magic damage and heal yourself for 80% of the damage, stacking with AP. W is Hunter's Call, an AoE attack speed buff which will increase the damage output with Wit's End later on, and helps with the jungle here and taking down turrets. His E is Blood Scent. Warwick attacks champions under 50% health in a certain radius and gets a massive movement speed buff. This will allow you to find low health targets in the jungle and hunt surviving people down without the slightest problems. Who wants a Warwick hug now? His ultimate, Infinite Duress, is what makes and breaks a good Warwick. You leap to a target for 1.8 seconds, stun them, gain 30% lifesteal and deal magic damage, while triggering on-hit effects. Cleanse won't help, but you can quick slow sash out of this ultimate. I will address the importance of this skill later on in the gameplay tips section. Your skill order for Warwick will be R, Q, E, W. You can decide whether you want W before E, if you want to have better dueling and faster clear times, or if you want to max E before W, so you can chase people easier. And I usually go with E, just because I get used to it and really enjoy it. Alright, so now for runes and masteries. For masteries, I go into the defensive tree. Warwick's main problem is the lack of gap closer until level 6. So you really want to be able to take some damage before you get to your target, and also be generally tanky during the game. O2119 is the way to go. I go with Magic Pen Marks for increased damage output from his passive, Q, Ult, Wit's End, Ionix Spark, and so on. Flat Armor Yellows for tankiness in the jungle, Magic Resistance per level for some tankiness later on, and Movement Speed Quints for chasing. You can also try going 2 health quints and 1 movement speed quint for some extra survivability early game, if you want that, but I usually go with 3 movement speed quints. Okay, let's get to the items I use. You should start with boots and 3 health potions. It's the best start for jungle Warwick at the moment. After that you want to finish Sorcerer's Juice and Wit's End. When you have these 2 items, you want to take a look at the enemy team and decide, do they have a fat AD champion or a lot of AD in general? Then you should rush Frozen Heart. But if they have a fat AP champion or a lot of AP damage in general, you should go for Spirit Visage first. Depending on what you chose, you can build one of these before the other one, but you will end up building both in the end. After you have these 4 items, you have to make some decisions again. If the enemy team has a lot of abilities which break your ultimate, go for Banshee's Wail. If they don't, and you feel like you want to be in the fight for a longer time, get Guardian Angel. Do you like damage? Get an Ionix Spark or even Madred's Blood Razor, although I don't recommend Madred's Blood Razor because it is one of the least cost efficient items in the game. After you have these 4 items, 6 items, sorry, you will be tanky, healing up to damage during fights, and dealing massive sustain damage. Alright, now that we got through that, let's go to my playstyle with Warwick and general gameplay tips. Before I start, remember, I won't be covering every tip for jungling. Timing buffs, keeping the vision on the map with wards, map awareness are skills which you will learn in other videos or through your own experience. And believe me, if you won't start buying that friggin' green 75 gold items, you won't get better at the game. As I said before, Warwick's start into the game is very slow and sometimes even boring. You want to clear your jungle as fast as possible. I'd advise you to use the following route: wolves, blue, wraiths, check red for the enemy jungler if they have a strong counter jungler like Shyvana, wolves, red buff, wraiths. You should be level 4 after a clear like this, and you can use any route with Warwick because his sustain is that good, but I recommend this one. Now look for a very pushed up lane. If there is none, keep on clearing your jungle. If you feel your mid lane is strong and has good map awareness, you can even try smiting the enemy blue wraith or counter jungling. Tip number 1. Spam your W in the jungle, but not your Q. If you spam your Q too much, you will run out of mana very fast, and you want to save the Q for when you get low health, during duels, or for ganking. Tip number 2. Does a lane have to recall? No problem. Just go to the lane and last hit the minions so you can get a nice XP boost until level 6. Don't push the lane though, because most top laners, mid laners don't enjoy that very much. As soon as you get level 6, all hell breaks loose. Your ganking potential just went through the roof. Look for an enemy champion which you feel like is squishy, use your ultimate to gap close, throw a Q on them, and they should be dead with the help of your lane partner. You will see this throughout my footage multiple times. Ganking warded bot lane isn't a problem with Warwick. You can just flash ultimate to an enemy support or carries for a longer gap close. Tip number 3 at this point: pick your red buff whenever possible. Sorry. The slow is great. It's a great ganking tool for Warwick and increases the chances of a kill by a lot. If you get off a successful gank, you should have sorcerer's boots and be halfway finished with Wit's End. Keep an eye out for dragon and your buffs, ward them if necessary, and try to get a kill on bot lane. If you kill their enemy bot lane, dragon should be yours to take. Warwick can do dragons without any problems thanks to his sustain. Remember to smite the dragon though at the last possible moment so it doesn't get stolen. After this, gameplay doesn't change a lot. Farm your jungle. If you are stronger than the enemy jungle, counter jungle. Gank lanes whenever your ultimate is up. Try to get your items as fast as possible. Okay, so Warwick isn't that hard to play, but here are some tips for late game and generally for the game. If someone is out of position, hug them with your ultimate. You need to get a feel for when you should use it and when you shouldn't. If you manage to catch someone with follow-up, the fight is nearly won because it will turn into a 4v5 instead of a 5v5. You will see this in the footage too. Beware though. Keep an eye out for high priority targets like AD carries and AP carries. Sometimes it is better to save your ultimate and use it on these targets mid-fight. Also watch out for a Quicksilver Sash on these champions, because they will be able to cancel your ultimate, and you don't want that. If you still want to ult the carry who has a Quicksilver Sash, keep an eye out on their usage of it, and ult them at a later point when they have blown it for some other kind of CC. The timing of your ultimate is what will bring you a victory or defeat, and is probably the hardest thing about Warwick. One more thing. You don't always have to engage with your ultimate. Sometimes it is better to save it for when you lost some health, ult someone, and heal up thanks to the additional lifesteal. That's it for me. I love this champion and I hope you can find some enjoyment while playing him too. He was a great help for me and some other friends for getting out of 1200 elo and getting higher. If you have any questions, just leave a comment or message me. If you like this video, keep an eye out for my next guides, because they will come out weekly now. Thanks for watching, and now go out and give out some Warwick hugs.